Hello, it's good to see you. Today we are going to do a little bit of gossiping about my neighborhood. May be true, may not be. Part of it may be true, maybe all of it's true. Who knows? Now, this neighborhood gossip is not going to be like any gossip video I've ever done for you. It's not going to be like anything we've ever really shared before. So I'm just going to tell you how this is going to go. But the first little bit of it is going to be up here, just like, hey, it's going to be good. It's going to be fine. It's going to be like the typical stuff. But as we go on, it's going to kind of do this. Okay? It's going to start going like this. There will be a shift in the energy, and it's going to go like this for a bit. And it's going to get pretty dark. But at the very end, I promise you, at the very end, it's going to come back up, and it's going to be good. I have a wonderful thing to share with you at the very end that doesn't have anything to do with any of this, but it's something that just happened today, and I haven't told anybody, and you're the first person I've told. So I have been dying to tell you this all afternoon, and it has nothing to do with anything, but I have to end with that because I'm so excited. Okay, all right. First of all, I want to tell you about my neighbors here. We're not gonna talk about all the neighbors right away, but I did write down a few of you asked about some of my neighbors in particular, so I wanted to update you on them. Now, several people asked about the guy over here, my neighbor over here, Joe, and Itchy and Scratchy 2.0. In case you don't know, okay. Hypothetically, allegedly, theoretically, yes, I realize I'm using those words incorrectly. I do it because it bothers people and they told me to stop, so now I'm going to do it forever. And I know it's incorrect. That's why I do it, because it bugs people. Joe over here won the lottery a few years ago, and he bought that house right next to me. And he's constantly talking about all this new stuff that he's bought. Recently, he just had a $20,000 grill system set up in his backyard. The bad thing is apparently he doesn't know how to use it, and he had a little bit of a fire back there last week. I don't even know how he managed to catch the entire system on fire. It has gas, like it's like a gas thing, so it could have been a lot worse, but it basically just toasted the entire unit, so it's useless. I think they used it maybe once, and then somehow the whole thing caught on fire. I don't know what he did. But he was out there yelling and cussing, and there was black smoke everywhere. And now the system is useless, and he's going to sue or something. I don't know. But he loves to tell you how much he paid for things and how expensive his things are. That's been his big thing lately, is that the grilling. Don't call it a grill. It is a grilling system. It's a system. Don't insult it by just calling it a grill. Anybody can have a grill. But this is a system. $20,000. Anyway, oh God. So there are these two women who live with him. And I call them Itchy and Scratchy. That's not their real names. So there were two originally, Itchy and Scratchy 1.0. Well, Scratchy 1.0 moved out, and then Scratchy 2.0 moved in. She's very young. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't know, man. But they live with Joe, and I do not understand quite what their relationship is, but I don't think I want to know. They have been doing okay as far as I know. I don't really talk to them a whole lot, but I can tell you, though, Scratchy 1.0 is still living at the house right across the street from me. She's still there. She still has her cherry tree. Unfortunately, though, she went down to Baton Rouge for where did she go? For Mardi Gras. She wasn't in New Orleans. She went somewhere else down there. Anyway, I think it was Baton Rouge she went to. She was down there, I think, visiting family or something. And unfortunately, she was dancing on top of this table, and she'd been drinking a little bit, and she slipped because there was some liquid or something on the table, and she had these high heels on, and she slipped and she fell off the table, and she hit her back falling off the table. She really messed up her back really bad, so she can't really go anywhere. She's still having problems. I mean, this was back in February and now it's June, but she's still really messed up, hypothetically, and it's really bad because Joe, so she got in touch with him to tell him, like, can you help me? I can't go get groceries. I can't really do anything. And she said, he just laughed and said, well, that's what you get. And then he hung up on her because she tried calling him. And he just laughed and said, that's what you get. I don't know. He's been kind of hateful to her. She just wanted some help. Now, Miss Margaret, who lives down the street, has been helping her some, but Miss Margaret doesn't really drive, but she can at least go over and help her just with stuff around the house a little bit. So Scratchy 1.0 is not doing well. I don't really, I feel kind of bad for her. She kind of keeps to herself for the most part these days, but her back is really messed up, and I don't know if she's going to have surgery. I don't really know, but poor thing. And then Joe has been no help, and Itchy and Scratchy 2.0 don't do anything either, which they totally could because they're home all the time and they don't go anywhere. They could very easily help her out. They both have vehicles. They could go to the store or whatever, but she has to get DoorDash a lot and stuff like that. My older son has helped her a few times with some stuff. I'm trying to stay out of it, but I just feel so bad for her, Miss Margaret. Okay, so Miss Margaret is an elderly neighbor of mine who had her flowers ripped up by Crazy Lady. That's not her real name. Miss Margaret is doing really well. Okay, so she wanted to try something new. She's always telling me, you need to get out of your comfort zone. I said, Miss Margaret, I live outside of my comfort zone. I wish I had a comfort zone. Every time I think I've got one, it gets messed up. Well, you need to get out of your comfort zone. I said, I think at this point, being in my comfort zone would be me being out of my comfort zone. She said, that don't make no sense. I said, I know. She wanted to try something new, but she didn't want to go by herself. She said, please come with me. I said, to what? She said, they're doing this line dance class for seniors at some senior center. They do these line dancing classes for senior citizens. And I said, I don't really know that I can go. She said, oh, you're fine. You're close enough. Thank you, Miss Margaret. She said, come with me. I don't want to go by myself. I don't know any of those people. I don't want to walk in there. I said, Miss Margaret, you would be fine. No, I don't know these people. Just come with me one time. Well, I went. I did. I took time off work to go to her first class because it's at like 11 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. So we went to line dance. Now, it's supposed to be exercise for senior citizens. I don't see how. Basically, this class involved stepping to the left a little, stepping to the right. It was like the slowest hokey pokey song you ever, like, you go forward, come back. You don't really get out of like a 3-foot radius. Like, it's just, you're like right here. And everybody, yay. But she had a lot of fun and she got to meet some people. And now she wants me to go with her all the time. And they like me being there. They say I'm like their cheerleader. Well, I said, I can't keep coming at 11 o'clock because I'm at work. Typically, I can't be here at 11 o'clock. Oh, that's okay. We have a class on Sundays too. I'm thinking this is perfect. Yeah, I'll take a chunk out of my Sundays from here on out. But it makes her so happy. I don't feel like I can tell her no. It is, you know what I have to do? I have to keep from yawning. I have to keep stifling yawns because you're barely moving. You are barely moving. And then they do chair yoga after that, which is neat. And she wanted to stay for chair yoga, so we stayed for that. Oh, she really liked that. But I feel bad for her because she doesn't get out a whole lot, and this has just made her day. So normally she gets a ride from somebody else to go up there and back. So she's got somebody else that can go with her on Tuesdays. But now apparently we just have a standing date to go do line dancing on Sundays. So that wasn't on my bingo card for this year. I didn't expect that. But yeah, now I do line dancing for seniors on Sundays with Miss Margaret. But it makes her so happy. I mean, I couldn't say no. So she's doing fine. She had a bit of a cold not too long ago, and it kind of got down in her chest. I think she had a little bit of bronchitis, but she's doing a lot better. She recovered very quickly, so that's good. Okay. Somebody asked about the backyard neighbors back here. They're the ones that were growing these weird little chilies on these bushes, and they were flopping them over the fence into my yard, and it was dropping little funky looking chilies in my grass, and they were sprouting. And then I asked them to please, can you please not do that? And they didn't care. And all they would say is, well, it's not bothering anything. The wife would always say, well, they're not bothering anything. I said, well, they're on my property. Can you get them off? Can you get them on your side of the fence? Oh, they're not bothering anything. They're bothering me. And I finally just got tired of it and went out there one day with a weed eater and just trimmed the crops out of my yard and scooped them up and put them in a recycle bag to go in the trash. And she screamed, no, like, it's just a trash bag, ma'am. And she wanted it back. Give me that back. I said, oh, it's okay. It's not bothering anybody. I just repeated what she said to me, and I scooped it up and put it in the trash. They haven't done that since then. They still grow their funky chilies, but they don't let them flop over into my yard anymore, thank goodness. Okay. Their kids are still awful. They don't believe in, like, any kind of boundaries or discipline with their children, so their children are basically feral at this point. Not a fan of that parenting style, but they're not my kids, so I can't really say anything. But one of them, I don't know if it's the husband or the wife, their dad has moved in with them. And we have a name for him. I'm going to describe why we have a name for him. I wish you could see this. I wish I had a video of it. It was pretty impressive, honestly. So okay, I don't know if it's the mom or the husband or the wife. It's one of them. It's their dad. He looks like he's probably in his 70s, I would say. But he's very spry. Oh my God. So this man, the way I describe him, it would be like if you had a pet beaver. Have you ever seen videos of people who have a pet beaver in their house and what they do? Now, beavers are like the neighbor's dad. This man, he doesn't work outside of the home. He has no job, but he's always got to be doing something. He's always working. He's always trying to build stuff and make things. Like a beaver, if you have a pet beaver, they will build a dam right in the middle of your hallway with whatever random things they can find around your house. They're always working on building dams and stuff. It's just in their nature to do that, no matter where they are. They could be inside of your house. They still try to build dams all over your house. It's crazy. He's like a human beaver. This man, every morning on trash day, when we have trash day, he goes, and I see him. I'll be leaving for work, and I leave really early. I'll see him out walking the neighborhood, and he goes around and he looks for scrap or anything that anybody has thrown out or put out for the trash, any kind of bulk, anything. I've seen him walking around with big stalks of bamboo. I've seen him walking with bags of mystery items like a freaky Santa Claus. I have seen him with old bicycles, skates, yard equipment. It doesn't, broken and discarded things. And so what he does with all this stuff, because he's kind of a hoarder, he takes all this stuff back to the house and shoves it up under the deck. So now, back there, up under the deck, it's just a wall of stuff that people have thrown away in the neighborhood over the last year or so. So he's always doing that, and every now and then he'll pull out random stuff, and his way of creating things is to basically just beat on it with a hammer. So he'll sit out there all day just hitting stuff with a hammer. Well, they had these beautiful cedar trees in their backyard, and he decided he didn't want them there anymore. So he took it upon himself to cut these giant trees with a little tiny corded electric chainsaw. The way he would do it, he would go out there in a t-shirt and shorts, barefooted, even in January. He would go out there with his little chainsaw plugged in with a really long cord, and he would shimmy up this tree. Now, these trees were tall. He would shimmy right up that tree. And the first time I saw him do it, I couldn't believe my eyes. I said, he's like a little monkey. Look how, did you see? So we call him Monkey Man, because he loves to climb those trees. He still does it all the time. So he would he could be up at the top of that tree in less than 20 seconds. I've never seen anything like it in my life. He's barefooted, just gripping like that. And this man, he's 70 if he's a day. So honestly, I'm impressed. I'm not even saying that like it's an insult. No, I am impressed because I'm 51. I could not do that. I would break my neck. I would fall out of that tree and break my neck. So Monkey Man has gone up into the trees. There were 4 big, beautiful cedar trees, very old trees back there, really big. Monkey Man, now it took him a couple of months with that tiny little chainsaw. I don't know how he did it. He cut every single branch out of every single tree all the way up to the top. He cut the tops out of the trees and proceeded to make a little hut with the tops in the corner of the yard. And then they got some chickens, which you're not supposed to have here. And then they got an old shopping cart and cooked they plucked the chickens and cooked them over the shopping cart with a fire under it. But he's something, I tell you. But he's a trash hoarder. He's always going around collecting garbage and shoving it under the deck. So I'm really glad I have my FU trees, my big beautiful trees. They're doing great. They've really filled in a lot, but I can still kind of see the backyard back there. They're not growing fast enough. I wish they would grow out more, but they're growing. They're doing great. So, Trip. Okay. Trip, I don't know that's not his name. I just imagine his dad calls him Sport. Trip is in his 30s, I guess. I'm not really sure. Now, he had 2 motorcycles. He lives with his mom and dad over in the corner of there. He had 2 motorcycles, and we called him the Wing Wing bike and the Vroom Vroom bike. And he really liked that Wing Wing bike a lot. He would take it out of the garage and he would park it in the driveway and go wing, 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 wing. And then he would take pictures of himself on the bike. He would get a video of the bike, take some more pictures of himself. Wing, 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 wing. And then you just put it back in the garage and go back in the house. He very rarely actually rode it anywhere. And then the Vroom Vroom bike wouldn't run. He could never really get it to run, and he worked on it and cussed at it and threw wrenches and had conniption fits and adult temper tantrums. And eventually he got rid of the Vroom Vroom bike. I don't think he has it anymore. And he doesn't have the Tesla anymore, but he did go out and buy a brand new, I don't know anything about trucks, some sort of special edition Silverado. I don't know. That truck was probably $100,000. It's a pavement princess. I mean, I think he has like an office job or something. This truck has never been off the pavement in its life. But personally, and it's just me, I don't know anything about their situation, but if my child was living with me, the only way I would let my child live with me at that age is if they truly had no other choice. You know, if they were saving up to put a down payment on a house or they were going to school, no problem. Trip is living there so he can drive an expensive truck. If my child was living with me and went out and bought that, I think they would have to find somewhere else to live. That's just me. I just don't know that I could get down with that. But he's been quiet for the most part. He still gets the Wing Wing bike out sometimes. He's made friends with a couple of the kids down the street here. And every now and then he will bring the Wing Wing bike down here because they like to hear it and see it. Wing, 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 wing. So he'll go down there so they can see it and hear it. And he'll do a little spin, like a little donut with it. So, I mean, at least he's letting the kids see it. So, I haven't really had a problem with him. He's just, that truck, just like every time I see it, I just think, not my kid. Not at my house. If you got enough money for that truck, you can go get your own place. That's just me. And somebody asked about Wally. Now, Wally. Okay. Wally was this orange cat that used to come around all the time. Unfortunately, when Marty showed up, Marty is our gray and white cat that just moved in with us. We didn't go looking for this cat. He literally just showed up in our backyard and moved into the house. He had no chip, no owner, as far as we can tell. Nobody in the neighborhood had ever seen him before. This was about 1.5 years ago. I took him to the vet, had him checked out. No chip, not neutered, very underweight, underfed. He had a big old scratch on his nose, and he was pitiful. Anyway, he adopted us, and we didn't really have any say-so in the matter, so Marty lives here now with my other 3 cats. When Marty showed up, Wally just kind of went away. It might have been a coincidence, but I think just because the other three cats are female, with another male cat here, I just think maybe Wally just decided to move on, which I'm very sad about. We tried really hard to catch him, at least to get him neutered, even if we just TNR, trap, neuter, release, because he's like 75% feral. We were never able to catch him. I even paid a professional to come in here and try to catch him. He couldn't catch him either. I tried. I tried everything I could think of to catch him and never succeeded. So I think about him a lot. I really, especially if it's raining really hard or the weather's bad, I just hope if he's still out there, I just hope he has somewhere nice and warm and dry to go. I miss him a lot. He was just the best cat. He was so sweet. He was the sweetest cat. But he hasn't been around in quite a while, unfortunately, a year and a half. I really miss him. So that was some of the stuff I wanted to tell you. Okay, that was fun. It's going to start going downhill right now. We're going to get into some stuff. So if you don't want to get into some stuff, you might want to just cut here. Okay. I don't know how much you know about the situation that I have with one of my neighbors. We'll call her Crazy Lady. That's not her real name. It ought to be, but it's not. Okay, so Crazy Lady. I'll give you a little background on her. I'd give her a name, but she's been Crazy Lady for so long, I don't know her by any other name. Crazy Lady moved in up the street from me 5 years ago this summer. She moved in, I think, July of 2020 with her dad. Now, her dad owned the house. Unfortunately, her dad passed away about 2 years later. So that was about 2022 when he died. She's still there. She's still in the house. The house is awful. She has spray painted all over it. It looks like nobody lives there. She never mows the yard. It just looks terrible. Her dad would be so disappointed to see how she's not taking care of it at all. It looks awful. So she moved in over there 5 years ago. My first interaction with her was within a week after she moved in, and I was outside watering my grass, and she came walking down the street. She came down to me and started screaming and cussing at me. And the stuff she said made no sense at all. It was nonsensical. It was so bizarre. It was so surreal. I'm standing there going, what's happening? Who is this woman and why is she yelling at me? And it doesn't make any sense what she's saying. Like, nothing made any sense. She was just screaming at me, cussing at me. And then she just stopped and just turned on her heel and walked back up and went back in the house and shut the door. I don't know what that was about. She's never liked us. I mean, literally from our first interaction with her 5 years ago, she has never liked me. She doesn't like my children. She doesn't like us. I've never done anything to her. I have never given her a reason to be this way. She has a history going back to the 1990s in this county of stalking, harassing, violence, in and out of institutions, going back to the late 90s. She has been this way. She has no family here. I think whatever family she does have, I think they've just kind of washed their hands of her at this point. It's been decades of this behavior. She's very unpredictable. She's downright scary. If you've on my vlog channel, Everyday Mary, I put some clips of videos I've made of her when she was screaming at me. She sounds demonic. I mean, absolutely demonic. It will chill your blood to hear her screaming. It's like a demon. It's unlike anything I've ever heard. And she will stand in her yard and scream literally for hours. She'll go back in for a minute, come back out, and the stuff she screams makes no sense. Well, so that's been going on for a long time. We would call the police. We would report it to the HOA. We've done all the things you're supposed to do. And all we are ever told every time is there's nothing we can do. Sorry. We can ask her to please stop. we can't really do anything other than that. As long as it's before 10 p.m. and she isn't directly threatening anyone, she is within her rights to stand there and scream. They don't consider it a nuisance. They don't consider it disturbing the peace. I have talked to dozens of officers. I've talked to the HOA. We've done all the things. Well, for some reason, around the beginning of this year, I don't know what happened. I don't know. She really, really started to fixate on my kids and me. I mean, to the point of obsession with us. I don't know why. I do not know why. We didn't do anything. We didn't say anything. We have had no interactions with her, but she became obsessed with us. She, I guess, went online and looked up a bunch of information about me. She found out, all kinds of personal information about me, like where I was born, my ex-husband, one of my ex-husband's names, where he currently lives, just all kinds of, like, where I used previous cities I've lived in, all the stuff you can look up about people. So she started standing out in front of her house, screaming all of my personal information out. And she would yell and yell and yell, and it would go on and on and on. And I called the police, and they said, "We're sorry. Did she threaten you?" I said, "No, but is there something I can do about this?" "No, ma'am, I'm sorry. She's within her rights to do that if she wants. As long as she doesn't threaten you and it's before 10 p.m., we can't stop her. Sorry." And the HOA, same thing. "Did she threaten you?" "No." "Well, sorry, we can't help you." Tough break, though. That sounds rough. I hate you have to live with that. And that's all anybody ever says. I hate you have to live with that. No, we're not the only ones living with it, though. The entire neighborhood has to live with it. So she started to scream even more disturbing things around March. And I don't even know if I can't say on YouTube what she was saying. She would spell out DIE over and over and over, talking about the death of my kids and me, my house burning down, all the different ways we could perish. But she didn't literally say she was going to do it. And I have so many videos of her saying these things. So many videos of her screaming these things at us from her driveway. And she would do it multiple times a week. This would happen. It got to the point I couldn't even walk out and check my mail. I couldn't go get in my car. I couldn't bring in groceries. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go mow the yard without her coming and screaming at me. And everybody says they can't do anything about it. And all my neighbors, the ones that I've talked to, say that they're sick of it and they want it to stop, but they don't want to get involved because they are terrified she will target them the way my kids and I have been targeted. They're scared that she will target them the same way, which I get, but I feel like if we all banded together, maybe we could do something. Nobody, literally no one, will step forward and do anything. I'm the only one who has attempted to do anything. They won't call the police. They won't do anything. Absolutely nothing, because they are all scared to death of her. They're afraid she will target them the way I have been targeted and my kids have been targeted. So they refuse to get involved. They refuse to do anything. So I finally, one day I'd had enough. I had just dealt with it enough. And I went and I talked to an attorney about it. The attorney advised me to try to get a restraining order against her. There are two different types of restraining orders that you can get in North Carolina. There's one for, like, if it's your spouse or something like that, a 50B, and then there's a 50C, which is a little bit more broad, I think. The attorney said you need to try to get a 50C, and here's what you need to put on it. Well, long story short, I did that. I went to court. The judge, again, very long story short, the judge said that I tried to show him the videos. He said, "Now, wait a minute. You recorded her in front of her house? I said, that's where she was while she was screaming these things at me. And he said, well, you're provoking her. I mean, if you recorded me in front of my house, I'd get mad too. I said, Your Honor, with all due respect, I'm recording her because of what she was saying. She was already saying that stuff before I started recording her. She says that stuff whether she's being recorded or not. And he said, well, you need to accept your responsibility in this matter because you are partly responsible because you're provoking her. You should not be recording her in front of her house like that. And I had a Ring doorbell camera video from one of her other neighbors. He sent it to me and said, you need to hear this. And it's a recording of her. You can't really see her in the video, but you can clearly hear her. And you can't see it, but she had walked down the street and come back. She keeps walking down to my house and going back to her house during the day when I'm not home. That's what I've learned from a couple of my neighbors. She just comes down to my house and stands in front of my house, and sometimes she screams at the house, and then she comes back to her house. She was screaming some extremely disturbing things about us, my kids and me, perishing. Just screaming bloody murder about it. The judge said that was inadmissible because I didn't record it myself. He said, who recorded this? I said it was one of her neighbors' Ring doorbell cameras, and they shared it with me to bring here today. So the judge said, well, that neighbor must not be too concerned about it. I don't see them here today. Why aren't they here to testify to this video? Inadmissible. Don't want to see it, don't want to hear it. That's not admissible. So all the videos I had, she's always in front of her house when I get these videos. All those are inadmissible. And because she did not literally say, and she had to say it exactly like this, I am going to kill you. He said, she didn't literally say that in any of these videos, did she? I said, no, sir, she didn't literally say it like that. I don't see what you're worried about then. I don't see any threat here. He said, now, I don't doubt there's probably some mental illness here, and he pointed at her. I don't doubt there's probably some mental illness here. I don't understand why you're here today, though. I mean, you are not. I don't understand why you think you deserve a restraining order. Because she's not threatened to do anything to you. So, case dismissed. It's denied. So I didn't get it. That evening, Crazy Lady came home and proceeded to tell everyone outside that the judge ruled me mentally ill. And her neighbor with the Ring doorbell camera, the judge ruled him mentally ill as well. We're all mentally ill. My kids are mentally ill. I'm mentally ill. Everyone's mentally ill except her. Whatever. And then she was quiet for a while. And then it cranked up again big time. Things have taken a sharp turn just in the last week. Okay. Where do I start with this? Okay. My younger son, had some friends over last Saturday. And they were outside. They had like water guns. They're out there running around chasing each other. And they also had these energy drinks, like an energy drink, and they were drinking these energy drinks. They all got one. And it's not like super caffeinated or anything dangerous or anything like that. But she called the police and told them that I had underage children at my house using drugs and drinking beer. So the police show up. And we talked to the officer. I said, sir, you're welcome to come in, look around. There's no alcohol here. They're not drinking. Nobody's using drugs. They're energy drinks. Here are the cans. This is what they've got. The officer said, no, don't worry about it. I know. He goes, she has some mental issues. Like, no shit. Really? I said, yes, sir, we know. We're familiar with her. We know that. So he was here for like 5 minutes. Thank you. Have a good day. This infuriated her. This absolutely infuriated her that cop did not arrest me. She was so sure, and she stood up at her house and just watched the whole thing, waiting to see me get arrested. And then when the cop left, she just raged. She raged because I didn't get arrested. She did call the police one night before that too, same thing. Told them that we were harassing her and threatening her. And the cop came down, sir, no one is harassing or threatening her. And she got mad about that too because I didn't get arrested. She kept screaming that he needed to arrest me. And I needed to be behind bars because I was a threat to the neighborhood. So, last Saturday night, no, it was Sunday. It was Sunday. I got a text from the neighbor with the Ring doorbell camera. He said, you need to see something. So I said, what? He starts sending me these screenshots from Facebook. Apparently, I didn't know she had a Facebook. She does. Y'all, on her Facebook are literally hundreds and hundreds of pictures of me, the house, my kids, my car. She's been walking around my car taking pictures of it. The front of my house, hundreds of pictures. And these long, like a wall of text. Just, it makes no sense, the stuff. It's absolutely nonsensical. She'll be talking about me and the kids, and then she'll start talking about 9/11, and then she'll start talking about Spain, and then she'll talk about virtual reality, and it is just nonsense. But she has put on Facebook lots and lots of my personal information, like where I live, my age, my date of birth, my license plate number, my son's license plate number, my kids' names, their dates of birth. I just like, oh, it gets better. So when we found out what her Facebook was, my kids and I started going through, and we're going through and just finding, and there's stuff on there going back to 2022, pictures and just screeds about how much she can't stand us and how we're evil, and I'm like a child molester, and like all these things, and I'm a horrible human being, and I do all these terrible things, and I need to be locked up, and using my name, my full name, my address. She puts my full name and address in every one of them. And how mad she is that the police haven't arrested me yet. I keep calling. They don't ever arrest her. They need to arrest her. I'm angry. And then she will talk about the race of the police officer. And it's a weird thing. She's really fixated on hair color and race of like everybody. Doesn't matter. She talks about my kids all the time because they both have red hair. And she always refers to them as the redheaded kids. She's very fixated on not just us, but whenever she talks about anybody, she talks about that stuff obsessively. But yesterday, I was getting ready to leave work. It was right before 5 o'clock. And I get a phone call from my supervisor. It's kind of weird. She said, Mary, I'm in the reception area. We just got a phone call. Can you please come over here? We need to talk about something. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what? What happened? And my first thought was something had happened at home. I thought maybe she called the cops again and the cops were at my house, but I thought one of the kids would have contacted me if that had happened. So anyway, I just left my desk and went straight to the reception area like, what's up? Crazy lady has found out where I work. At first, I didn't know how that was possible because I have never put anywhere online anywhere where I work. I've never mentioned that. No. So, crazy lady called the office, like the main number at about 9 o'clock that morning. This was just yesterday. She called about 9 a.m. I don't know what was said during that call. I don't know who took the call. There was somebody else at the reception desk and there were no notes about it. I don't know. Then she called again at about 4:30 and someone else answered. And she apparently just went on a rampage, just a screaming tirade, and mentioned my name, of course, and how they need to fire me. And she's listing all of these horrific crimes I have committed. Apparently, I've murdered people. I have maimed people. I have run people over. I have prisoners locked up in my house. I'm a drug addict. I'm insane. And she also said, I'm going to find out who owns this company. I'm going to find out who is in charge of your company. And I'm going to call them and I'm going to tell them to So I'm really freaking out. Like, how does she know where I work? Did she follow me one day? How does she know where I work? I have never put that online. Now, all the other stuff she knows about me, she could have found online. Not that. Not that. But then I remembered something. I know how she knows. And so I'm standing there with my supervisor and the receptionist, and it occurred to me, I said, I know exactly how she knows. She's been taking pictures of my car, like all the way around my car, like up close pictures of my car. At night, it's always dark when she's taking these pictures. I also know that she has come down here during the daytime and walked around my car. But again, cops, HOA, well, she's within her rights to walk on the street. We can't stop her from walking down your street. Did she damage your car? Did she do anything to your car? No. Well, we can't help you. Sorry. Again, that sounds really tough. I hate you have to deal with that. Like, I really wish she'd stop saying that. Wow, that's tough. Yeah, it is. 5 years of this is pretty tough. How does she know where I work? I park somewhere where you have to have a sticker on the car. That sticker mentions my place of business. It mentions where I work. I said, that's how she knows. She saw the sticker on my car. And because of that sticker, she also knows where I park when I'm at work. Shit. But I have to have that sticker or I'll get towed when I go to work. So I did mention that to my supervisor, and she said, unfortunately, there's not really anything we can do about that. I said, well, it's too late now anyway. She already knows. So I don't know if she called anybody today. I was kind of waiting to see if I heard anything further from her. The receptionist has agreed to write up a statement about the call and, everything that she said. So I will have that. I am very concerned about that. And then later that day, she got back on Facebook and mentioned my name, my place, mentioned where I work, and said I work for a bunch of demons who didn't want to help her. And then so she's cussing the people I work for, and the receptionist is a bitch, and and then she started talking about George Washington for some reason. It never makes any sense. She posts on Facebook the way she talks. It just makes no sense. And then she put more pictures of us up. She took more pictures of us out yesterday. She took pictures out there this morning when we were moving the trash cans. She got pictures of my older son and me moving the trash cans. So you can see I'm wearing exactly what I'm wearing right now. And put them on Facebook. And, of course, saying all the nasty things about me that she says. I can't go out of my house now without being watched and photographed. She just sits at home and watches us. There are dozens and dozens of pictures of my house when nobody's even here. It's just the front of the house and the side, like the driveway, and it's very disturbing. But it gets worse still. Today, and I have a screenshot of this because she changes her profile picture pretty often. Do you know what her profile picture is right now? A picture she took of my younger son. It's a close-up picture she took of him. It's blurry because she took it from a distance and tried to blow it up. Picture of my son is her profile picture right now. I just found that out when I got home today from work. So we definitely have a screenshot of that. So if this does not qualify for some sort of restraining order, I don't know what the hell does. This woman is stalking us. I think it's the most cut and dried case of it you could probably have. Now, I did have a concern about her coming to my place of work because she put the name of my employer, the street address. She put all the information about the location of where I work. So she knows where this place is. I told my supervisor, I said, she could come here. So she said, can you send me some pictures of her? And we will let security know, because it is kind of a secure facility. We will let them know if someone of her description shows up here, she will not get in the building. It won't protect me walking to and from my car. I have taken care of that. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But I have given them pictures and a description of her. So if she shows up, hopefully she will not get inside the building. The doors are locked. You have to be let in. So hopefully no one will let her in. And if she did get let in, she wouldn't make it very far. So, yeah, I am trying to get in touch with an attorney to see what I can do. And this time, I am not going to file anything by myself. I'm going to get an attorney to represent me. I will just retain an attorney. I won't just talk, pay one for some advice. I will retain an attorney to go with me to court. Because I think this is beyond anything I want to try to handle by myself. I don't want to take any chances on getting denied again. I want an attorney to handle it. So I'm working on trying to find one who can help me. Unfortunately, a lot of them they're so booked up, they're not taking any new clients right now. But I am working on that. And we continue to, watch our backs and screenshot the crazy stuff she keeps putting on Facebook. We're just keeping track of everything she's doing. And hopefully we can get something going, some kind of resolution. At this point, I don't know how much further she's going to go with this. I don't know. I am pretty concerned about it. So I've told my younger son, just, don't go out there. Don't interact with her at all. I mean, I hate having to hide in my own house. But at this point, I don't feel safe being outside of my house anymore. I don't. Because every time I set foot outside of my house now, not every time, but yeah, she has lots of pictures of me just walking to the mailbox, walking to and from my car with all this nasty text in the, with the picture. Just, it's very disturbing. Although I try to find humor where I can, because this is such a stressful thing. And it's the first time I heard her screaming is just like background noise at this point. I'm like numb to it at this point because I've heard so much of it. But she does this thing, and she loves to say this to me. I don't know why. And I don't do a good crazy lady impression. She has kind of a Brooklyn accent, like she does, because that's where she used to live. And she speaks a lot of Spanish, so a lot of times she alternates between English and Spanish. So I don't know what she's saying sometimes, but one of her favorite things to scream at me, and I have a really good video of her doing it, but I'm not going to share it right now. She will see me outside, and she will come running out of her house and go, "Stick it up your ass." I can't do it the way she does it. "Stick it up your ass." I don't know what I'm supposed to stick up my ass. I have yet to find out. I guess the mail. I usually am out there getting the mail. "Stick it up your ass." And I have to stifle a laugh. It's just at this point, I don't know what to do but laugh about it. Oh, she's dead serious. She's not being funny. She is raging at me because I came out of my house. But no, there's nothing. We have reported her so many times to the police. And I've had 2 different officers tell me, "You're wasting your time calling us." I'm sorry. You're within your rights to call, but you're wasting your time because we can't, unless she threatens you directly or it's after 10 p.m., there's nothing we can do. Our hands are tied. I'm sorry. I know this is tough. We can't help you. So she can stand out there and scream at my kids and me whenever she likes, and I have no recourse at all. But I think it has escalated finally to the point that maybe with an attorney's help, I can get somebody to listen to me and understand what we're dealing with here. It's very stressful. It is very stressful. This past Sunday morning, I didn't even go outside. At 7 o'clock Sunday morning, she came and stood in her driveway for almost 2 solid hours, screaming about me, screaming my name over and over and calling me everything you can imagine. Almost 2 solid. I don't know how she has a voice. I don't know. I didn't go outside. I didn't do anything. And she stood out there for almost 2 hours screaming about just me, just calling out my name over and over and over and saying every horrible thing you can imagine that she hopes happens to me. But she never directly threatened me, though. That's the thing. She's crazy, but she's not completely gone. She knows what she can and cannot say. That's the catch. But now that she is literally stalking me, calling my work, trying to get me fired, putting up pictures of my son as her profile picture on Facebook, I'm sorry. I think I have a case. I hope so. I will let you know. But right now, that is what I have been dealing with. And the judge too. One of the things the judge said, this judge really pissed me off. He didn't want to hear anything I had to say, really. I tried to tell him, he said, well, why are you recording her? He just kept asking, what are you recording her for? Why do you keep recording her? No wonder she's so mad at you. And I tried to say, Your Honor, I've had 2 different officers instruct me that when she starts behaving this way, to get my phone out and make a video of it. The judge told me I needed to watch my tone or he would hold me in contempt of court. He literally said, you need to watch your tone, ma'am, or you're going to be in contempt. He didn't want to hear any more about it. Don't care. Watch your tone. I did not have a tone. I have never been told that in my life. I was simply trying to explain and answer his question as to why I was recording her. And I was told I needed to watch my tone. So hopefully this time we can get another judge. That would be really good. And see, an attorney could help with that. They would know who would be better to present this to and which judges to avoid. It sucks that you have to do that, but you really do. Justice is not blind. And some judges are just awful. They just have no business doing what they're doing. That's my opinion anyway. Okay. So that's what's going on with her. Now we're going to take another turn. This is pretty bad too. And I may get upset. I'm going to try not to. Okay. So, I don't know how much you know about my personal life. I don't talk about it a whole lot. I'm pretty open and honest about the fact that I've been married 3 times. 3. And they kind of line up with the witches in the Wizard of Oz. My first husband was like the Wicked Witch of the East. Not a big part of the story. We don't know much about her. She's just gone. And we weren't married very long. I was much younger and kind of stupid. And I think I was on drugs the entire time because I have no idea why I thought marrying him was a good idea. We weren't together long before I realized what a train wreck it was. And we split up and he went away. Then there's the Wicked Witch of the West. That's my second husband. Much bigger part of the story, much more evil than the other one, than the first one. Flying monkeys, all the thing. Very awful. He's gone too. Go away. We've been divorced now since 2009, I think. 2010, maybe. Somewhere in there. Anyway. And then there's Glinda the Good Witch, who was my third husband. And he's great. I'm just going to say that. He's great. But long story short, we were a blended family. Between the 2 of us, we had 5 boys under the age of 12. And the 7 of us just didn't do too well living all under the same roof. That and Glinda the Good Witch and I we're very particular about how we like things in the house. He has his ways, I have my ways, and it was a constant source of friction for us, and there just wasn't really any compromise. It was a problem, is what I'm saying. So our marriage was like a death by 1,000 cuts. It wasn't just one thing, it was a lot of things. Well, we split up in 2016, and I moved into an apartment with my kids for a year until we could kind of sort everything out. I saved up some money, and then I bought this house in 2017. So I've now been here for 8 years as of this month. Just crazy. I can't believe I've been here that long. Well, we kind of drifted apart for a little bit, but then in 2018, we embarked upon some, and this is part of the problem that I'm having. This has been a problem. We developed a relationship that I don't even know how to define it. We were not I don't know what we were. We just decided, look, we both agreed we're very busy people. I don't have time or the desire to have a regular relationship with somebody. I just want somebody that I can hang out with occasionally. That's really all I have the time or energy for. So we decided we would give it a shot. Still living in our own houses and everything. So we never really defined what it was, though. And that's important because I think I had different expectations than he did, and maybe I didn't communicate too well with him looking back. Although I will say we did have one very specific conversation about being exclusive. We're not looking for anyone else. We're not seeing anyone else. We're not trying to start something with anyone else. We did have that conversation. And I told him, if you ever change your mind, if you ever want that, please tell me. Okay, sure. The problem with it is we've both always known this whatever situationship, I don't know, whatever it is, it had an expiration date. It had a deadline. We knew it was going to end eventually because he has been planning for years to build a house up in the mountains about 2 hours away, sell his house here, and move away. I have no interest in living in the mountains, and he knows that. So we've always kind of known, and neither one of us is really interested in a long-distance relationship. We've always kind of known it would end at some point. But we tried to just not think about it. Let's just enjoy this time and not worry about it. I was fine with that. But it's always in the back of my mind, like, it's not going to last. It's not going to last. He's going away, and he's getting closer and closer to that every day. It's still a little ways off. He's still got several years before he's going to be able to retire and move up there. But he's making real progress on the place he's going to have up there, and it's going to be really nice. And I think he's going to love it. He loves being up there. So I'm trying to get you to understand, like, the foundation of this thing here. The foundation is sand. It's very shaky, is what I'm saying. So I never stopped loving him. I do love him. I always will. I've never been so happy and so comfortable around anybody in my life. I love just hanging out with him, just talking about nothing. I'd rather do that than anything else. And so for a long time now, for several years, we've had this routine where every Wednesday night, we would go pick up food, come back here to my place, and watch an episode or two of something. And then we would sit and talk, and then he would go home. And that was basically the extent of our relationship, like seeing each other. Now, we would text every day. We would talk and text every day about everything going on in each other's lives. I am really going to miss that. I have a cat behind me. This is tough. So last Wednesday, so a week from tomorrow. How do I tell you this? Okay. Everything came to light that I didn't know, and you know who I have to thank for that? Vanilla Ice. Yeah. I have Vanilla Ice to thank for opening my eyes to what was really going on, and I'll tell you why. Okay. So we're sitting there. We had watched an episode of, no, it was before we were watching Clarkson's Farm. We were about to watch an episode of it. The season 4 or whatever just came out on Amazon Prime, and we were going to watch an episode. He has a friend who is a pilot, and he does charter flights, like private jets and stuff. He ended up down in Florida recently, somewhere in Florida. And he said, so he was down there, and he was walking around downtown, wherever he was, I don't know. And he said, guess who he saw? He was at this little ice cream stand, and guess who he saw? I said, who? Vanilla Ice. I said, oh, that's, what a coincidence. He saw Vanilla Ice at the ice cream stand. Vanilla Ice, never mind. He's just looking at me like, I said, oh, that's really cool. Imagine that. Wow, okay. So he likes to show me pictures of stuff. So he pulls his phone was sitting on the coffee table right in front of him, right? He's sitting there. So he opens his phone up and he goes to his text because his friend had texted him a picture of Vanilla Ice. And he thought I would like to see it. Well, I saw something else first that I don't think I was supposed to. For a split second, I mean literally like 1 second, I just look down and I see his list of texts, like the most recent ones at the top. I see my name. I see Mary. Right above it, though, is another woman's name with a little red heart emoji. And then he pulls up his friend's thing right away. So I saw it like boom, and it was gone. Like, so in my brain's like, wait a minute, what was that? We'll call her Kate. That's not her name. Who's Kate? Why is she sending him a red heart emoji? So I'm sitting here looking at this grainy photo of who was supposed to be Vanilla Ice in a baggy sweater and shorts, and I'm like, who the fuck is Kate? I don't care about Vanilla Ice. No offense, man, but who the hell is Kate? And why is she sending him hearts? But I didn't say anything because there's this part of me that's like in denial, big time denial. Don't worry about it. Maybe you were wrong. And this voice in my head is like, I'm not wrong. I know what I saw. Well, don't say anything. Who cares? I care. Who the hell is Kate? I didn't say anything, though. I just went on, and then we watched the episode, and then he went home. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. But then I'm coming back to the thing of, well, what are we anyway? I mean, I'm not like his technical girlfriend, although we did say we were going to be exclusive here. We weren't worried about talking to anybody else. So who is Kate? And why is she sending him hearts? He doesn't have a relative by that name that I know of. And it was the most recent text in his history because I'd sent him a text about an hour prior. So she sent it after that. He's never mentioned a Kate to me. So I just could not get it out of my mind. And originally I thought I would ask him about it this coming Wednesday night, but it got to Sunday. I couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't sleep. I was a mess. And I said, we just need to talk face to face. This is not something I'm doing over text. So he was out of town. He had gone, he has a condo in the mountains that he rents out, and he had gone up there to clean because the cleaners don't do a very good job. And that's legit. I mean, I don't think he's doing anything up there. I've never had a reason to think that he's up to anything, but now I wonder. So he got back home about 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon. And actually, I was at his house when I got the texts from my neighbor or the screenshots from Facebook about that crazy lady had posted. So it's been a really surreal week for me. So I went to his house and I said, we need to talk about something. And I wasn't really sure how to, I don't know how to bring this up. I don't know how to ask. I ended up not asking him about Kate Sunday. I didn't ask him right away. I wanted to wait and see what he would say. What are you gonna tell me before I bring that up? I said, am I keeping you from something? Is me being in your life keeping you from something or someone? He said, no, what are you talking about? I said, I just get this feeling that I'm holding you back, like me being in your life is keeping you from something. Is there anything you want to tell me? And he did immediately tell me about Kate. He immediately said, well, one of my exes, she texts me all the time. He said often. She texts me often. But I don't want to be with her, And again, my brain just kind of froze. Like, I don't even know what to say to that. This is the first I'm hearing of this. So we had a talk for about an hour about our future and what we want to do. And the fact that he's, eventually going to move away. And I don't want to go live in the mountains. And he doesn't want to live down here. He's really excited about moving. He loves being in the mountains. And he's really excited to go. And I get that. I want him. And I told him, I want you to be happy. I know that will make you happy. I said, what do you see in your future? What would be the perfect future for you? What do you need in your life to make you happy? That man named everything but me. I was not included in there at all. And I said, okay. That's good. Those are all good things. I don't fit in there anywhere though, do I? I really don't. And he said, I want us to be good friends. I want us to stay good friends. I said, I'm not. That's not enough for me. I don't want to just be your friend. And he said the thing that I know up here in my mind, and in my head, I know it's right, but I haven't quite accepted it yet. He said, when we try to be more than that, it's a disaster. We can't, it doesn't work. We can't live in the same house together because we're just, I don't know, somehow in that way we're not compatible. We both agree that we love each other, but sometimes that's just not enough. You know, you have to be compatible in other ways too. And he's right. I know he's right. We're not. I mean, because I've said all along, I don't know that we would ever get married again. I like living in my own house and everything. And so does he. We like our space. We like our privacy. We like our peace and quiet. I don't think we would ever live in the same house again. I just don't think we could. I think we'd kill each other because we just like things the way we like them, you know. And I have these cats. He doesn't want pets. Well, my cats are not going anywhere. That would be a huge problem. He would not be okay with that. There are a lot of reasons why it wouldn't work. So we talked, and then I got home, and I kept thinking about Kate, and I kept thinking about Kate. And we got into this long text conversation that night. And again, last night, we had a very long text conversation. But I'm kind of glad we did it by text, because now I can go back and reread all of this to remind myself of why things are the way they are now. Because you forget the details over time, but I have all the texts on my phone, so I can go back and read it anytime. So I sent him this long text, and I told him that I had seen that text from Kate with the red heart. I said, "Who is that? What is up with that?" He said, "Oh, that's her." And he answered, he was honest. He said, "That's her. She does text me pretty often." And then later that night, it occurred to me, wait a minute. And I remembered something that happened. And this was in 2018 at the end of the year. We hadn't been together too long. And then just casually one day he said, "Oh, you know, one of my ex-girlfriends contacted me and she wants to know if we can start dating again, if we can go out. Would you mind if I went out with her?" And the question just blindsided me and I got upset. I'm like, of course I mind. No, what? I thought what are we? What are you asking me? And he said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Look, I didn't want to go out with her anyway. We broke up and I have no interest in her. I will distance myself from her. I'm not going to talk to her anymore. Don't worry about it. I promise. It's nothing. It's nothing." Now that was 6.5 years ago. Guess who he's been talking to for 6.5 years? Unbeknownst to me, Kate. Thank you, Vanilla Ice, because if it weren't for you, I would not have known that. He said to me, "Oh, she knows all about you." I said, "That's funny. I don't know anything about her." Huh. What do y'all talk about? And he wouldn't answer the question. I asked him that question 3 times. What do y'all talk about? Because at first he said, "Oh, we don't talk at all." And then he said, "Well, we don't talk often. Not much. Anyway, I'm not interested in her." So I said, "Then why don't you block her?" I said, "Because about a year ago, I got a text out of the blue from this guy that I dated when we split up. Hey, just checking in. You know what I did? Since I wasn't interested, I blocked him and didn't answer him. And that was the end of that." So you have been not interested and not really talking much for 6.5 years? And she's still coming around? Huh. With nothing coming from you to keep it going? Huh. Things that make you go, interesting. "Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's no big deal. I mean, I don't want to date her. She's my ex. I don't care about her." Then why don't you block her now? Oh, I didn't even think I could do that. I mean, it just never crossed my mind to do it. Then do it now. And he was hemming and hawing like, I mean, I just never thought I never thought of that. So I gave him an ultimatum. I said, "Okay, It's me or her. If you want to continue having anything with me, you got to block Kate and you got to cut ties with her. He said no. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. I said, okay, that's fair. That's fine. That's your option. You are well within your rights to text whoever you want. I'm gonna dip out though. I'm pulling myself out of whatever the hell this is right here. I don't care to be a part of whatever this is. I gotta go. We gotta stop this. I cannot be a part of this anymore. He didn't like that. He said, can we still be friends? I said, no. I don't want to just be your friend, and this hurts too much. I don't want that. I think the best thing for both of us is just to make a complete, clean break. It hurts. I mean, seriously, it does. It's killing me that you're choosing whoever the hell she is over me. Well, I'm not gonna block her. That's your right. You don't have to. That's okay. You let me know how you made your choice. You're within your rights to make that choice. And I can make the choice to just remove myself from this situation. And that's what I'm doing. And that was the end of that. So there is no more Linda the Good Witch in me. And so I guess he can spend the remainder of his time here before he moves away with whoever he wants. And I wish him the best. I really do. I'm hurt. I'm upset. But I knew this day was coming. I knew it was going to end. Eventually, I knew it was going to end. I did not know Kate was going to be a part of that. Now, that was like a little stab in the heart I could have done without. But yeah, apparently she knows all about me. And I'm assuming she knows about this channel. So, Kate, if you're here, hey, you can have him. I'm done with him. You can take him now. He's waiting for you. So that's the end of that. And I am sad. I have not been this well composed the entire time. But one thing I've decided to do is look at this like, what have I learned from this? And when you go through a breakup, these are two good things you can do. And this is what I'm doing. What have I learned? Well, I tell you one thing that I'm really impressed by, my ability to catch an earring when it falls off. One thing that's really impressed me about myself, because you know how I like to make everything about me, basically standing up to him and making him choose and not just putting up with Kate. Because he swears up and down there's nothing to it, but he won't. No, I know. There's definitely something to it. I think there's more than he's saying. But at this point, it's okay. I don't care. It's fine. Whatever. I don't need to know details. I don't. You want me and her? You can't have me and her. And in the past, I might not have even stood up for myself like that. I would have been resentful, but I probably wouldn't have given him any pushback for it. I'd look at it like, well, we're not really a couple, and he said they're not doing anything, so I'm just going to try to forget about it. I'll just sit over here and be resentful, but I won't make a fuss. I don't want to make waves. Fuck that. No. I deserve better than that. And you do too. If you're with somebody who treats you like shit, you don't deserve that. Don't put up with that. There's a flip side of that. I think a lot of times people expect to be treated like royalty, but they treat their partner like shit. It has to be both. It has to be both people involved. You need to treat them well, but you also deserve to be treated well. If you're treating them well, you should be getting the same back. I feel like I treated him well. I never saw anybody else. I never even thought about seeing anybody else the entire time we were together. And he told me he wasn't going to talk to her anymore. It was over. There was nothing to it. Don't even worry about it. I won't ever talk to her again. And then proceeds to talk to her for the next 6.5 years behind my back. He never mentioned her again. The only reason I knew was because of Vanilla Ice, which is funny. I say that. Thank you, Vanilla Ice. Thank you for being at that ice cream stand that day. I'm so glad his friend saw him, because otherwise I would have never known about Kate and her little red heart. Well, I hope they're very happy together. You know, I think she's basically obsessed with him. Maybe she can move with him up to the mountains and they can live happily ever after. Maybe. I mean, maybe so. And if it makes them happy, that's wonderful. I just want them to be happy. But I also want me to be happy. And I can't be happy with somebody who sees me as like a backup or a filler. I'm not going to be somebody's plan B, you know, just in case things don't work out. I got my good buddy Mary over here. I'll go hang out with her. No, I don't think so. So anyway, I'm going to be very happy by myself. I think I'm good with that. If someday, if I meet somebody, that's great. I'm not going out of my way to look for anybody. I like Medea says, I could do bad all by myself. I don't need any help. If I meet someone and we hit it off, that's wonderful. If not, I'm not going to worry about it. It's okay. So think about what you've learned. I've learned that I am much more likely to stick up for myself now than I've ever been. And that's awesome. Because I would have never pressed the issue about Kate in the past. Oh no, I wouldn't have pressed it. I might have timidly brought it up, but as soon as he said, "Oh, there's nothing to it," "Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I think I must have misunderstood. I got confused. I'm sorry." And I would have just never brought it up again. And I certainly wouldn't have stuck up for myself. But I do now. So I feel really good about that. And then the second thing you could do, and I've been doing this, I got a little list here. Think about the positive things that come along with this relationship ending. And I have some stuff that I thought of today. One of the things is I want to go back to Vegas. I want to go back because there are several museums I want to go to. There are some things I want to go do. I want to go ride RVs in the desert. I want to go out. There are several museums. I want to do the zip line another 5,000 times. But I want to go by myself because I'm also going to be making videos while I'm out there. Because look, if I make videos out there, I can count off a percentage of the trip as a tax expense. It's like a business expense. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Like my room and board, my meals, the airfare, I get a certain percentage of that off my taxes. Because if I make video out there, I'm working. And I even get to count, like if I make videos in a museum, I get to count off part of the admission. Oh, hell yeah, man. My accountant hooked me up on that. I want to go by myself. He would have never been okay with me going to Vegas by myself because he would be convinced, oh, what are you going there to do? What are you really going to do? Who are you really going with? Are you going with somebody? Are you meeting somebody? No, I'm going by myself. I've never taken a trip like that by myself. I've always wanted to. I can do it now, and nobody's going to give me shit for it. So I'm actually pretty excited about that one. Also, this is kind of stupid, but it makes me happy. There's this exercise class on Wednesday nights that I love. But see, we always got together on Wednesday nights because that was the best night of the week for him. So for the last 3 years, I've not been able to go to this class, hardly ever, unless there was a Wednesday night he had to cancel. I can go to that class any Wednesday night I want now. So I'm really excited. I'm going tomorrow. I can't wait. And the third and last thing I have on here, and there's more, this is just what I've thought of today. I have a chance at some point in the future, and again, I'm not worried about it now. It's not a good idea, I think, to try to jump right out there and try to find somebody as soon as you end a relationship. It's usually not a good idea. You need to spend some time by yourself and kind of sort things out. But in the future, maybe one day I can meet somebody who actually wants to be with me. As a girlfriend, you know? Maybe. I'll have a chance at that instead of just waiting around to see if he ever wants an actual relationship with me ever again, which he's made it pretty clear he doesn't. He just sees me as a good friend. It's not enough for me. So maybe one day I'll find somebody who likes me, who wants to, have a relationship like a normal couple. So maybe. Anything is possible, but it's a lot more possible without a friend looming in the background like we've had for over 6 years now, almost 7 years now. So those are the 3 good things I've come up with so far, and I just got started. I just started thinking about this. So I'm okay. I'm fine. It's sad, but again, I knew this was coming. So yeah, it's not great. It sucks. But it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. And I hope he's he's going to be happy though. I know once he gets up there to the mountains and he's living there full time, and oh, I know he's going to be over the moon. He loves it up there. He really does. And that's always kind of hurt my heart a little bit because I don't want to live up there. I like the mountains. They're pretty, but I belong down here. I'm a city mouse. I don't want to live up there. I don't want to live in the mountains. I'm sorry. It's beautiful, but I don't want to live there full time. So, yeah, I always knew it was going to end. I didn't know it was going to end this abruptly, but, just rip that Band-Aid off. Just rip it off. Instead of that slow peel, just rip that bitch off. And that's basically, whether I like it or not, that's kind of how it went. It just got ripped off. And that's the end of that. So, that's all I have to say about that. Now, I want to tell you my really good news. I know I've been talking a long time, and I want to keep this brief, but I have something very exciting. And I haven't told anybody this because it just happened today. I have not told a soul. I haven't said this out loud. Okay, so I don't know if you know this, but I wrote a book a number of years ago called River Road, and here it is. And I had to split it up into 3 parts because it was so long. So I wrote this right here. This took me 4 years and 4 months to write. This right here. I have been working on the sequel to River Road for 15 years. Not consistently. Now, there were whole years when my children were small and I was, doing it on my own. I'm still doing it on my own, but working full time, I didn't work on it. There would be an entire year where I wouldn't even touch it. So I'm not saying I worked on it nonstop for 15 years. I certainly didn't. I started it 15 years ago. When I got the job I have now, 2 years ago, can you believe I've been on this job 2 years? Oh my God. When I got this job 2 years ago that I have now, I decided to commit to finishing the sequel. So every day I get an hour for lunch, and I try to dedicate at least 3 hours of my lunch hours to writing every single week. Now, you don't think dedicating a little bit of time every day will get you to your goal? Do you want to see what I was able to do in 2 years, dedicating it, give or take at least 3 hours a week to writing this story? Do you want to see what I was able to accomplish? Let me show you. I'm pretty proud of this. I wrote all of this in 2 years. Now, this is not all of Holiday. The name of the story is Holiday. This isn't all of it. This is probably 3/4 of it. And I've already typed all this too, except for these last 2 notebooks. I finished Holiday today. I did. I finished Holiday today on my lunch hour. And I did a little happy dance. I was in an empty office with the door shut. I did a little happy dance. Nobody at work even knows about it. 15 years, but I finished that story. Oh my God. I just wanted to go celebrate, but I had to get back to work because I still had 4 hours of work left. I was just so excited the rest of the day. Oh my God, I cannot believe I actually finished this book. And I'm going to type up these last 2 notebooks here, get it all formatted, and I'm going to get it ready, and I'm going to have it available on Kindle. And I'm going to have it on Kindle, and I'm going to read it to you just like I did River Road. I'm going to read it in a whole series of videos. In case you don't want to read it on Kindle, you can listen to me read it. This was a hell of a story. I had the best time writing this. And if you liked River Road, I think you're going to love this. You are going to love Holiday. Oh my God. But it's done. It is done as of today. So I am really, really jazzed about that. It had gotten to a point I felt like I was never going to finish this thing. But I did. I finished it. Man. So I had to share that with you. I didn't want to leave on a down note. I wanted to leave on a positive note. So that's why I waited till the end to tell you that. But yay, I hope to have it ready for you at some point, at sometime this summer. I don't know when, but I got to get it typed up. And I want to go back and reread it to catch any typos or whatever. I'm going to have to go back and reread the whole thing. So that's going to take some time. So I hope to have it ready for you soon, though. So I'm very excited about that. Well, thank you so much for watching and for hanging in there to listen to all this. I know it's a lot. But I really thoroughly enjoyed sharing this with you today. Sometimes I know life can seem to be really just too much to take, but just remember, just hold on. It can't rain every day. It always gets better. It does. And you can make it. If I can wade through this river of shit, you can do it too. We can do this. We can get through it. It's okay. You just keep getting up. You keep going and doing and kicking ass, and you'll get through it too. So, yeah, I'm very excited. I'm so excited. I just feel so good that I finally finished that thing. It's over 700 pages long. It's a hell of a story. I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to love it. I really do. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud. I cannot wait to share it with you. I am so excited. But thank you so much for being here. I really hope that you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again soon.